Good evening, everyone. Thank you for those who are here live. We're keeping it kind of quiet tonight. I'm not making it very interactive and community-based in the sense that I'd like you to feel like you come into a monastery here, right? So this is onlinemonastery.com. I'm up here alone in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York, and I am the person who has this knowledge and information to share about the Anahat meditation system. So those of you who are here, I appreciate you being here. And I'd like you to feel like this is a community, that you're here with other people. Even if you're watching this as a recording, I'm going to take you on some meditation tonight and talk about some nice deep themes. And yet I want you to feel that there's a connection between everybody who's here, even though you're not talking and interacting. Similar just if you went to a meditation hall deep into the woods, it was very quiet, take your shoes off, you walk in, you sit down, you wait for the teacher to arrive, the teacher shares some knowledge and wisdom, and everybody's in a meditative space. So we'll definitely go into that. And before I get to your question, so we can get into a certain flow, I see Liliana, your question in there. So if anybody has any questions, including Liliana's, let's go to them at the end of the flow of the meditations and whatnot. And then you can turn on your mic, turn on your camera. We can interact as much as you'd like to for those who are here live. And for those who I know who are doing Anahat meditation, who would be watching these recordings right now, thank you for being part of this. So in case you are new to this, very quick introduction, which would also get us into the spirit of the work. In 1996, I was meditating in the woods outside of Kripala Yoga Ashram because I couldn't live in the building. And at that time, I was doing so much meditation and my spirituality was just blossoming. I was barely in my body. I was having cosmic conscious out-of-body experiences, deep merging into source, visits of saints and angels. I mean, like literally, this is what's happening during this period of my life. I'm not in a career, not in a relationship. I'm literally just alone, living in the woods, which tends to be my pattern, just to commune with God, just to be with the divine. But it made me a rather dysfunctional person. The idea of having a relationship or a career, making money, I couldn't even sleep in a building. I had to be sleeping out in the woods, and I couldn't be near other people's energy because I was so sensitive. So some people go so far in the spiritual path, it becomes hard to integrate into the world. But I knew I needed to eventually integrate. And the role model of a saint who just lives in a cave and blisses out on God, that might seem really ideal because you get to find God, right? And that's worth finding. However, some of those people really become so disinterested in the world that they really don't function in the world. That doesn't really work for modern day America, right? For anybody living in a civilized world where you need to make money and have a career, and you might want to have relationships and family and all that. We have to be able to bring that intense spirituality into the world. So on YouTube now, we just it's on somebody's station. We'll get it on ours very soon if it's not there already. It's a podcast I was just on called Grounded Spirituality, and I really appreciated that the podcaster had chosen that topic. After getting to know me, he said, let's call it Grounded Spirituality. So in Anahat meditation, we have this descending triangle that takes us down and in, and we have an ascending triangle, which is the movement up and out. I was looking for a balance of both, right? So Anahat meditation simply has a lot to do with the six-pointed star, where we have a descent into the humanness, so we can be fully grounded, fully present, fully functional, and successful in this world, right? My career has blossomed in ways I couldn't have imagined, and it's bigger and better than I could have imagined. And I was essentially just sitting on a meditation cushion doing this practice. So the benefits of Anahat meditation are profound. It's not for everybody, obviously. It's very deep stuff, but that's what monasteries are. They're usually small little cloisters in the woods where people meditate and they share a certain vision. So thank you for being here with that. So what happened to me in 1996 was I started noticing energy moving through my body in patterns that were tracing the glyph of the six-pointed star. The energy would go up into spirit and then down into the body. And if we keep it really simple tonight, that's essentially what's happening. Even though it's a more complex meditation system with tremendous benefits on tremendous levels, the essence of it is to bring you up into spirit, bring you down into human, with a fully open heart. So essentially, you're living in all 7 of your chakras simultaneously. You're not disconnected and closed from the higher spiritual levels, and you're not disconnected and closed from your humanness, which includes your sexuality, right? So Anahat meditation embodies all of who you are on every level with the intention to be successful, fulfilled, complete on every level. So I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about enlightenment, and then let's just go on to meditation. So the essence of whatever we're doing here when it comes to deep spirituality has to be a quest for enlightenment. A lot of spiritual paths you're going to hear about, like yoga, relaxation, stress reduction, things like Reiki. You hear about healing, right? I'm a big fan of healing, right? One of my books is the Sutras on Healing and Enlightenment. So in that book, it says healing and enlightenment are synonymous terms. Both arise with the knowledge and awareness of truth, right? So what is enlightenment and why is it so valuable? Enlightenment is waking up to who we truly are, but it's not an intellectual experience, and it's not even like an emotional development experience. It's at a whole other category of being. So lots of different spiritual communities have their intention, right? Be ecologically friendly, eat healthy foods, have great community. Awesome. I've lived in these places, and honestly, not a lot of people are seeking enlightenment. They are looking for friends. They're looking for community. They're looking for places to do yoga, places to meditate, but it's not about the external action or that you're in an ashram or a monastery. It's what is your intention. So when I went to Zen Mountain Monastery, I chose that because I was looking through a whole book of spiritual communities of where I would go live as a monk, and that would be my life. And I chose that monastery because they said purpose, like reason for existence, enlightenment. And out of this entire book, that was the only one I remember finding. I'm sure there were others, but that's the one that said our purpose is enlightenment. So what does it mean to know yourself? Why would that be so valuable? Enlightenment is the awareness of truth, which implies we're not in truth, right? So it might seem obvious as, oh, well, everybody's, what is true? What does real mean, right? So the past doesn't exist, but most of us live in our minds in the past all the time. The future doesn't exist, but we're constantly thinking and worrying about it. We're never actually, for a long period of time, 100% in the moment. So when we meditate with the intention for enlightenment, we're gathering all of our attention with every breath to pull our awareness right here now. So I hope you'll do that with me. Don't consider this just an intellectual lecture. Consider it a pacing and leading into the enlightened state of consciousness, which can only be in the present moment. And then as we revisit Anahat meditation, this sense of descending becomes more meaningful because what we're doing, like those of you who know the system, when you breathe below your navel, pull all your energy down below your navel and breathe right here now. You're gathering all of your attention into the present moment. In enlightenment, that's where you are, and who you are can only be right here now. So let every breath right now release you from the past, release you from the future. So in meditation, what happens is our mind, we notice, is running around all over the place. It's not that we have to just quiet that thing and make that thing stop. You actually don't really have to give that thing much attention at all. The problem is that you do. You're always, I don't know who you are, but people are always up in their heads. When you do descending meditation in Anahat, you are pulling yourself down below your mind, down through your heart, down into your belly. And then you just sit here and you breathe, right? So in very basic Zen meditation, which is very advanced meditation, the idea is just to sit, be here now, and breathe. But why would that be so important? Like, what's the value of being totally present? When you're totally here now, this moment is remarkably peaceful. If you're really in the moment, if your house isn't falling down from a hurricane and whatnot, if you can just sit here now on the computer listening to me, just breathe in the moment and let this moment be one of perfect peace. So what is enlightenment? It's the waking up to who you are right now, yet it's a continual state. So what happens when we're first waking up spiritually? We're quite blocked. It's like you've been wearing dark glasses your whole life. You're not seeing reality at all. Your mind is always in the past, in the future, and in some fantasy of what could happen or who you should be, and all the self-hatred, all these negative beliefs. A normal human mind is filled with what the yogis call illusion, delusion, and error. Right? We are filled with perceptions, both right and wrong perceptions, all of our judgments and values and opinions, and the things you say you like and you don't like, the things you push away and hold on to. There's a whole identity in a human being. We essentially call that ego. That identity isn't necessarily bad. It's not good or bad. However, it's not enlightened. It is a false self. It's a masquerading self. And it's a very scared self, actually. Even though on the surface we might look like we're doing well, when you get down to the core of the ego, that individual separate self, because it's inherently false. That's what the Buddha found out. That's what A Course in Miracles is all about, that the individual that we think we are isn't real. When we start to really meditate intensely, we go through a profound inner transformation where the veils to who we truly are start dropping away. So we call those your blockages. Of course, the Miracles calls them the blockages to the awareness of love's presence. So a lot of the healing work is about clearing those blocks. But if you're focused just on enlightenment, don't even think about your blocks. Think about the present moment. Breathe right into your navel and just keep being here. Every single thing your mind will do, you don't care about. I was like, well, what am I going to do about? See it, let it go, come back to your breath. So if you're doing mantra or counting your breath, you're giving your mind something to do. You're saying, okay, every time you think, I will notice we're thinking. I will maybe acknowledge it. Oh, okay, I need to remember to mow the lawn. Thank you. Got it. Let it go. Come back to the breath. Keep coming back to the moment. So what do we find in the moment? We're in the moment. So your true self will be here. In the moment, there's perfect peace. In the moment, A Course in Miracles calls it creation's gentleness. It's like soft, it's innocent, it's guiltless, it's free of illusion, delusion, and error. It's free of sin, if you want to use that word. It is totally clear. There's no mental disturbance in enlightenment. The thoughts are sane, rational, they're linear and logical because they're not all jumbled. It's just truth after truth. So what happens with someone in that state? They're honest, they are truthful, they're open-minded. These are qualities of a teacher of God in A Course in Miracles. They're naturally joyful because what do you find in the moment? Love, right? Not just peace right here now, but love is right here now. So when we descend in Anahat meditation, yes, we're coming into our bodies, but we're really bringing our consciousness so present that we just experience what is without the conceptual mind. So you want to get to a place in your practice where you have what the Zen masters call don't know mind. Your mind still thinks you understand something. You know what things are for. You know who you are. You know where you are. So what we do in the beginning of spiritual growth is we start deconstructing all of that. You don't know who you are. You don't know where you are. You don't know what anything is for. You don't know where you came from. You don't know what your original face looks like before you were born, right? You don't know anything. The moment you catch on to that, you're truly ready to start to grow in the path of enlightenment, because now reality can enlighten you to what it is instead of you making up what you think reality is. We can only do that with meditation, meaning, how do you define meditation? It's where we put our attention. What we meditate on is where we're putting our attention. When we do Anahat descending meditation, we get very present right here now, and you can do it with eyes open. So you're just sitting here, breathing, and you're at peace. And you don't have to do anything because this moment is peace. You just have to be here now. Meditation is a constant process of coming back to the now. And you're not trying to attain anything. If I just sit here now, it's easy. All I got to do is breathe. Everything else is happening on its own. Even breathing is mostly happening on its own. But if I become conscious of the breath, I'm enlightened to the moment because the breath is in the moment. The life force is in the breath. So as we gather our chi, our Shakti into the present moment, we become more powerful. We realize that we are consciousness itself, because when the mind is clear, you're still there. So you're a conscious bliss, you're conscious peace, you're conscious love. Your true nature is bliss. This is just a reminder why we want to meditate, not just to reduce stress, not to make more money, not to manifest our soulmate. Those are byproducts of vibrating at a super high state. That law of attraction pulls all the best things to you. You don't have to go out to energies in the enlightened state. They come to you. And all you keep doing is vibrating higher and higher. And then you watch as everything gets better and better. That's what Christ said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things are added on to you. All right, so just seek heaven. So where is heaven? Enlightenment is heaven. That's here now. As you do that, you start watching your external world reflecting your inner world. Most people's external world is a reflection of the inner world, and it's not always a great experience. But when the inner experience is sublime, the outer experience is sublime. But you don't have to try to make the outer experience better. You just keep meditating. It's the deepest secret. You surrender the outside and just prioritize the inside. You say, God, I give the future to you. I give my whole life to you. I'm a monk. I've taken like monastic vows of self-realization and service to all other beings. And I'm going to achieve that bodhisattva vow by just sitting and breathing. So what happens when you're just right here, right now? You discover in Zen, they call it, there's little mind, which is like, the ego. And then there's big mind, which you might call God or spirit. Buddhism is non-theistic. Zen is even more non-theistic, but not atheistic. They just don't talk about God. You might even say like Judaism in some way is not, this is not a fair way to say it. I'll explain what I mean. Judaism, I was going to say, is non-theistic, which is not an accurate statement, but I'm saying it because in Judaism, we don't write G-O-D. In English, if you're writing God in English, you would write G-D. What do they mean by that? You don't know what that reality is. Don't think the word God is God. Don't get caught up in this word. So it's not atheistic, nor is Buddhism atheistic. It's just asking you, like Judaism, don't get caught up in your mental ideas of what you think the divine is. When we're right here now, we realize God is right here now. But you can't experience that while your mind, somebody in the room here, you can't experience that reality that we call God while your mind is deluded and filled with perceptual errors. So the enlightened state of a meditator, like when you really meditate and reach these higher states, because you're so right here now, you're experiencing the peace and love of God. So what is God? Sri Yukteswar in Paramahansa Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi, he said, God is the peace and love you experience in meditation. In descending heart center type meditation, because we have to come down through the heart in this meditation system, breathing below our navel to be fully here and now. So when you're fully descended with an open heart, you will feel, even with eyes open, the presence of the divine. How do you know that? Peace, bliss, love, joy, and there's one other component I'll bring in before we move on in the discussion, and then we'll go into meditation together. But again, I hope you're meditating Right now, just letting every word I say guide you to do what I'm saying to do. Be here now. Just breathe. Stop making things up in your mind. Just sit here and be at peace. Now we're tapping into God. Now we're tapping into the moment, right? So enlightenment is essentially when all of those blocks are cleared, or enough of them, right? Because there's always going to be little fragments of ego. All the saints talk about that. However, you get to a state of such clarity that the present moment is where you're experiencing God. But now, why is that even more valuable? What's this one other component beyond the peace, bliss, love, joy? The wisdom, the guidance, the communion. Is when your mind's all cloudy, you're only hearing your own psychobabble. You're only hearing the nonsense that you're thinking, the meaningless thoughts, the untrained mind, or the monkey mind. So why is like the monkey mind such a problem? What you know it is because it bothers you and it causes physical distress and negative emotions and terrible behaviors. And don't ever underestimate how the untrained mind is ruining your life. It's making you terrified of absolutely nothing at all. So I don't want to go too into what the unenlightened mind is. I just want to help to point you towards the thing I dedicated my life to, is what is enlightenment. You'll get glimpses of it throughout the years, right? The veils will drop away for a moment and everything will just be light and love and bliss and, wow. And then it'll go away, but it'll keep flirting with you, coming back. And what it's doing is like cleansing you, purifying you, drying you out. St. John of the Cross called the dark nights that we go through a drying out process to make us burn for the divine. And then we can really fall into true love with the divine. So what's happening when you're doing descending meditation, Anahat, you're right here now. And eventually we start working with the heart. So you're really right here now in a space of love. So descending in Anahat is about being fully grounded right here now and finding God right here now. When the heart starts becoming part of it, now we realize, oh my God, I love love. You don't love things, right? You might like them a whole lot, but you don't really love things. You might say, I love everything. But what I'm saying is things come and go. It's not true eternal love, because you say, I love my new car. And then your car, blows up in a fire and, well, I don't love it anymore. It's not, you just liked your car a whole lot. Love, you can feel like when you hold your child to your chest, that feeling of just, whoa. Whatever you've ever felt towards a human being, God is an infinite million billion times better, because God is the source of all that love. So when we meditate and heart-centered, we find that love right here now. Enlightenment is when you're just in that state of divine love, pretty much always. Even if you're moving through a blockage at a certain stage, it's like the Zen masters say, how can a snowflake, there's a bug up in the ceiling. I'm like, something is moving up there. I don't think it's an angel. There's a big moth on the ceiling. Okay. So when you're in a state of that, in the moment in divine love, when your heart is that open, I'll just jump to the point. There's a sense of communion with the divine, a deep sense of love. And it'll feel so natural to you when you get to this place in your growth where you're like, oh my God, love, God, love, that reality, I love you. But then when you hear that voice speak back to you and you start realizing, in A Course in Miracles, it teaches, I am not my own creator. If you didn't create you, if someone else created you, who is that? Where is that? It didn't create you as a body. You're not a body. You're a spirit, right? You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Where's God? That's what enlightenment, like the quest for enlightenment, is the quest for where's God? Why do I not know God? This seems insane. How could that which created me not be here? How could the love and the joy and the peace and the bliss not be part of my reality? It should be driving you nuts. It should become a matter of life or death. Literally in Zen practice, you don't just get on the cushion to relax. This is life or death. Your body is going to die. Your heart will stop beating. That will happen someday. What happens next? Generally, if you're filled with a whole lot of negative stuff, it goes with you and it leads to future experiences. Your death doesn't stop your suffering or your illusions or your negativity. So death isn't the solution. If death isn't the solution, that means you're trapped in your own stuff until you clean that up or until that gets cleaned up. So that's the intensity of the enlightenment experience, the monastic experience, and why not a lot of people would be drawn to classes like this, because who wants to obliterate their personal self? Who wants to just let who they thought they were completely die to be reborn, right? That's what Christ said. Unless you die to be reborn, you don't enter the kingdom, or unless you become little children, like be rebirthed, reborn, you don't get it. So as we do Anahat meditation, the heart opens, the blockages do clear, what's left is love. And then more and more communion, the sense that I'm like, I love you. And the beloved speaks back. Not necessarily in English, because you learn God doesn't need English to communicate love to you. Right? Love is love. It doesn't need words. That's why the word God, G-D, you don't want to blaspheme to think you know what it is. You'll know what it is when you're immersed in it. And what does A Course in Miracles say about that experience? It's unlike anything you've ever experienced in the past, because it's ever new joy, said Paramahansa Yogananda. God is ever new joy. Okay, so why do we meditate? This is a pep talk. This is to create motivation, to get you to want to get on the cushion, because it's not just like, oh, I got to sit because I'm supposed to discipline myself. You need to, if you're not aware of it, or at least have the reminder, if you're on the path, there is a path. The goal is glorious. Every saint who's ever walked the path has experienced that, and they all come back to tell us because it's just so wonderful. What happens when we start ascending now in Anahat? We talked a bit about descending, experiencing the divine here and now, the love of the heart opening. When the heart starts blossoming in the path, and we start directing that love up and in and up, then we are moving towards, so let me say it this way, because I was having a beautiful meditation today, and I was just feeling all the love in my heart, directing it towards God. And the word for that in Sanskrit is bhakti. Bhakti means devotional love. And I had like the brief thought, can we have bhakti without God? You can't. So bhakti is the highest, I mean, up there with compassion in religious literature. Bhakti is like the highest vibration, devotional love, where you are a lover and God is the beloved. That's such a sacred, beautiful relationship. You don't need other people around to have that incredible fulfillment, because in some of the closing ceremonies in Hinduism, they sing, God, you are my only friend, right? Like, so whether you have friends or not, it doesn't matter, because the beloved is real. As you're tapping, being the lover, your heart is open and you're loving love, you're loving the divine. As you start turning your attention inwards with eyes closed, you're taking all the concentrated focus that we develop in meditation and all the love in your heart, and you're directing that concentrated love towards your source. So you might be saying, like, that's the soul who gets him or herself. It's beyond gender. I'm just trying to be politically correct, right? Gender correct, but really the soul is not gendered. So you get yourself as the soul so present to knowing who you are as a drop of that ocean. You'll discover the ocean is right there with you now. You don't have to leave your body to find it, but I'll take a moment to talk about that inner journey and what can and eventually does happen. So it's not just about finding God here now in the moment as a grounded human being, because we'll always know there's more. There has to be a transcendent higher reality. Reality can't just be the physical plane. And when we get to the level of love, to the heart, we're moving more into the astral level, the emotional kind of level of vibration. But as we keep going up the chakra system, ascending, all of that energy, the Kundalini Shakti, starts moving up the spine. Blockages are getting cleared. The light is moving up, the energy to the higher chakras. Wherever you put your attention, all of that energy follows. So it's just a up, 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 in and up movement. So usually when we ascend, we close our eyes, we take the same concentrated power we had in the earlier meditations, and we hold all that concentrated power towards the divine. But because the love is now part of the equation in the system, and really in a maturation of spirituality that's going to happen, you'll start directing your love towards God. That's deeper than just meditation. That's communion, right? Where you're realizing that which created me as spirit, not as a body, is actually right here now and always has been. So you don't have to go anywhere to find God. God already knows where you are because she's right here now too. But how do we, so we can experience God in what's called immanence. So when God is immanent, meaning God is like within everything, or you might say God is everything. But things are temporary, finite, changing realities. God is not a temporary, finite, changing reality. The divine is an eternal, absolute, unchanging, yet ever expanding reality. That's real. And if we're too scientific or too in our heads or we're too intellectual or too down to earth, you descend too much, you might get a taste of the immanence of God within everything. But then there is the transcendent experience of the divine. So there's immanence, kind of like within everything. And then there is transcendence, above and beyond everything. A mystic eventually gets to the place where they say, I need to know that. I need to know God beyond time and space. Like, God, I sense your presence here, but who are you really? What are you really? What is our real connection? What is the essence of what we are? Right? That's what, so enlightenment is, who am I? You're always asking, who am I? Don't think you know. Even if you think you know, let that go. Enter the divine's house with don't know mind. They say, why are some of the temples in India, why is the door so low? And it's true, like some of the temples, you have to literally crawl into like the altar area. They say, because God only lets you in when you're on your knees. All right. So when you've been humbled enough, where you don't know enough, where you've been deconstructed enough, your ego is torn down enough, and you really become a lover. And not everybody is drawn to the bhakti devotional temperament, but I am. It doesn't mean you're singing rapturously, although it might. It's just an inner feeling of, I love my source. I love love. I love the communion and the wisdom. I love the divine knowledge and the sacred mysteries. I'm putting all my attention on that. I'm putting my attention on my own soul and marveling at the glory of what I am in my essence. That's true humility, by the way. To honor that you're glorious is actually to say, well, if that's how God created me, I'll be humble enough to admit it. It's arrogance to say that you're anything but divine consciousness. So you are divine consciousness. And when you close your eyes and ascend, you can commune in union. So there's union and communion. Union is just a nonverbal merging into source. Communion is when the lover and beloved are having revelation occurring. God is sharing like reality with you, and you're just in awe. So A Course in Miracles says you shouldn't be awe in another child of God because we're all equals. Yet awe is completely appropriate when you're in the presence of your creator. So do you experience awe? In your daily life, we're like, ah, that is so nice. Like, wow, like literally, ah, that is so beautiful. I can't believe how beautiful. Your life should look, I don't mean should like a critical parent. I mean, like really, you have the opportunity. Your life can be absolutely glorious, but you don't have to touch it. You'll do what you're asked to do from spirit. I was on a recent podcast interview and the woman was asking me about my career path. And I kept saying, God did it. God did it. God did it. Like, there was no personal self making decisions after 19 years old when I woke up spiritually. It was just God guiding me step by step of what to do next. But how did that happen? When I was 19, I started meditating for hours a day to find God again. Because God showed herself to me. And then I said, all right, I want that forever. Right? And we can have that. So that's what monasteries are about. That's what ashrams, when they really have the highest intentions. Again, you have to filter through a lot of people who are there for other reasons. Eventually, you find a handful of people who just say, I want enlightenment above all else. I'll lead us into a meditation with this. There's a sutra in Buddhism called the Identity of Relative and Absolute. And it says, I respectfully say to those who wish to be enlightened, do not waste your time by night or day. And it says, if you do not see the way, meaning the reality of truth, like the spiritual path, but literally like the goal of the spiritual path, the way, the Tao, the word there means Tao. If you're not experiencing the Tao, you are mountains and rivers. What does it say? Do not judge by any standards. If you do not see the way, you do not see it even as you walk on it. If you are deluded, you are mountains and rivers away from it. That's what it actually says. If you are deluded, you are mountains and rivers away from it. You are miles away from your true self, which is right here now. So we need to hear these teachings over and over, because enlightenment is a tricky, slippery slope, right? Because it's so easy to fall off the path. So the deepest wisdom is really stay on the path. So what is the path? The present moment, your relationship with the divine in the here and now. The path isn't, I do yoga, path is I'm a vegetarian, I meditate here, I did Reiki. It doesn't matter what you did, because here you are right now. And if you're totally in the moment, you'll experience what any God realized mystic experiences. It's so tricky because it's here now. Why is it also tricky before we meditate on it? You're it. So it's like an eyeball, it's like an eyeball trying to see itself. Because you are what you're looking for, and you're so prone to looking outside of yourself for things, right? Your reticular activating system, when you lose something and you're looking for it, you know how to look for something, but how do you look for things? You journey somewhere else. In meditation, you don't need to go anywhere. You need to sit still, right? So be still and know that I am God is one of the Psalms, right? It's like the only Psalm you need to know. Be still and know that I am. Even just that, be still and know the I am. Know the I am presence. The I am presence is your consciousness. It's right here now. And the truth is, we just don't spend enough time with it. In fact, we're misusing time. You're using time looking for love in all the wrong places, realizing most of your efforts are unnecessary. A Course in Miracles calls them useless journeys. You don't have to do most of what you're doing. You can stop and be still. And the more you do that, you start renouncing unnecessary activities, and you put more and more time on God. God takes away your other responsibilities and wants to commune with you. The great Saint Ramakrishna taught this. He said, when you dedicate your whole life to God, God will take away your other responsibilities, not the things that are most important, like my career and my important relationships. They continue. They're divine. They're not going anywhere. But all the useless journeys, all the egoic, useless, dramatic, all the drama, all the nonsense people deal with, it doesn't need to be there. So that's like the purity of enlightenment, is you're so in the moment, you only care about the experience of love, and then you only want that with others and for others, right? The only thing greater than the experience of the divine is to be able to share that with others, to bring people into this consciousness, because once you're there, you know we're all one, and all you want to do is be of service. So this meditation system will get you into that space. If you just practice all 12 meditations, it will gradually unfold you in this way. But I hope these talks are helpful. All right, let's go into a little bit of meditation time. I'll encourage you to close your eyes. I'll do the same. And let's work to embody the three major movements that we were just engaging. There's descending, coming down into your body. So you can start there. And there's heart-centered, opening our hearts, tapping into love. And then there's the ascending motion up into the head, where we're moving into the transcendent. So let's spend some time descending. Just breathe below your navel. Notice your breath in your nostrils. Be very aware of the breath. One of the first breaths, I believe it's in Vipassana meditation, you'll feel the air moving in on your upper lip, like above your upper lip, right? Just below your nose. Just feel the breath move in and feel the breath move out at your nose. Notice it's a little bit cooler as it goes in. Notice that it's a little bit warmer as it goes out. Yet instead of keeping our attention at our upper lip, drop down below your navel. As you inhale, feel the diaphragm muscle pull down. That's a tensing of that muscle. And as you exhale, just soften and relax that muscle. You don't have to do much to exhale. Just surrender the out breath. Inhale, actively pull the awareness down below your navel. Exhale, let the diaphragm muscle float back up and the air is gently pushed out. Again, actively breathe in. Passively breathe out. As you breathe in, be very aware that you're breathing in. That's your only job now. Just know that you're breathing in. As you breathe out, know that you're breathing out. With your eyes closed, start to let the external world dissolve away. You weren't even thinking about Mars, Jupiter, and Venus till I mentioned it. You forgot about 99+% of the universe anyway. Just forget about everything else now. Forget about the past. Forget about the future. Forgetting is actually a really good thing. Forgive and forget everything and just breathe. If you notice you haven't forgiven something, let it go and come back to your breath. Forgive and forget everything and just keep breathing in the present moment. Take the energy down into your body so you can just sit here now. Let every breath bring you more peace. You don't have to fix anything now. You don't have to do anything. Just breathe. I need do nothing. Just breathe. Breathing in, know that you're breathing in. Breathing out, know that you're breathing out. And as you keep letting go, you're choosing to be very present. And how soft can you be? How much tension can you relax out of your body while still staying with an erect spine and a sense of poise and equanimity? Just breathing here now. Equimonious, even keel. Calm and quiet, yet very present and awake. You're not asleep. When you're here now, you're very awake, very aware. Just be aware and breathe. Nothing to accomplish, nowhere to go, no goals to attain. Just breathe. Just sit here and breathe. Keep letting everything else go. You don't have to create God. You just want to experience what's here now. If you notice anything in the way of peace and love here now, just observe it. Don't try to change it. Just make space for it. Let it move. Breathe. Being here now. If there's something here now that's not light and love, it'll pass. Just observe it. Keep letting go. Let everything else go. And just breathe. The divine is so quiet. It doesn't need to keep talking, and it's not. It's communicating all the time, but it's not talking incessantly in English. So let your mind keep quieting. Let your mind keep quieting. Keep coming back to the breath. The quietness, the silence is the presence you're looking for. That's where the peace is, in the silence, in the space between your thoughts. And the longer you make that space between your thoughts, right here now, you'll experience the divine immanent within everything, surrounding you, within you, as you. And all you're doing is sitting here breathing very mindfully. If your attention moves away from this moment, come right back as if you miss one breath, the ceiling would fall on your head. It's that important. If you miss one breath, the whole universe will explode. That's the intensity of meditating for enlightenment. Every breath is the most precious thing to be intimate with. Because if you lose it, you lose reality. Just be here now breathing. And yet you're right with your body below your navel. Let's pull the attention up to the heart now. As you inhale, we breathe up to the heart center. Keep your belly soft and open because we're acknowledging all the lower chakras up to the heart now as well, which is right up to the heart. Breathe at your heart center. The first thing you might acknowledge here is self-love. If you can't love yourself, then you're keeping love from this moment. Forgive yourself. Accept that you're forgiven and you're still innocent and still guiltless. Let your heart be free of guilt, free of regret, free of fear. Just breathe here now. And in the present moment, you might notice you're not feeling only love in your heart, but just observe, breathe, and then choose again. If you're afraid, you made the wrong choice. If you're angry, you made the wrong choice. Just choose again. I choose love. I choose only love in my heart. Maybe you'll think of someone you love for a moment, just to remember that feeling of love. But now just focus on the love itself. Learn to fall in love with the love inside of you. Find the love inside with your eyes closed and just breathe into the love. And you're letting self-love turn into divine love. You can love your individual sense of self, but let that love keep expanding. So your breath, what if the air itself is love? Where is the breath? Where's the air? Where's the love? Breathe it in. What if the air is liquid love? You wouldn't want to miss one gulp, one breath of something that delicious. So breathe love into your heart. It's sweet. It's blissful. It's even playful and just wonderful. Why do we have those words? Because there's a reality behind those words. Playful, peaceful, loving, delightful, joyful, delicious. The divine in your heart is everything you've ever wanted to feel. And all you have to do is keep your heart open, forgive, and let go. And God is what's left. And as we start falling in love, with this concentrated power, now let your chin just lift a tiny bit. Let your eyes roll up and pull your awareness up towards the crown of your head and your third eye region. And as you inhale, we'll start ascending, moving towards the transcendent. You're putting your attention on pure consciousness now. You're forgetting about the external world. The higher up you go, you'll be forgetting about your body. Transcend, go above your heart. Go above your emotions and go above your conscious mind. Your conscious mind appears to be a chatterbox living in your head. Go above that. Don't try to stop your mind. Just direct your breath above even your own head. Yet don't go above your head externally, like towards the ceiling. Go above your head internally, up into your own consciousness. Find the purity of the I am present. I am. I am. You are that love. You are that peace. You are that divine sweetness. Now you're meditating on your own soul, which is one with God. It's right here now. So don't go looking anywhere but into your own consciousness. Keep pulling your awareness away from your senses. Nothing to taste, move up into spirit. Nothing to smell, move up into spirit. Nothing to see, your eyes are closed, just move up into consciousness. My voice goes with you, so you don't have to try to listen. Move away from your ears and go up into consciousness. And pull away from your body sense of touch, up into consciousness. You are literally extracting your soul from the humanness. Pull up out of your sensations into consciousness. Let go of what's below. Let go of your emotions or your heart. And just float up above your head, in and up. Even above your conscious mind. Put all of your attention on that third eye, consciousness, higher region to the best of your ability, with the same intensity as if nothing else matters. You're drilling your consciousness into God. You're not letting yourself move 1 millimeter from the moment. And all of the awareness is held on source energy. So this is ascending, this is transcending. Again, no goal, no attainment, just moving your attention somewhere. The more you go up, 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 if you keep doing this, you'll be detaching from your body. Eventually, you can leave your body. And all these mystical experiences start to happen the more you stay up here. So let's take a moment and open to that. Imagine that this you can just float away from your body, can float above your house. Imagine flying up into the night sky. Do you have a body? Do you need a body? An astral body, or can you just be pure consciousness? How big are you? Can you be as big as the night sky? Can you go all the way up to the moon and look back at the earth? What if you expanded so big that you contained the solar system? And then you could look out to the whole Milky Way, the entire galaxy. And what if you kept expanding to open to all galaxies? And what if you became so big you were the space the universe was contained within? And then so big the universe is just a little dot in your infinite awareness. But that's not all just dark. Keep rising higher in your vibration and welcome more infinite light. Eventually, in your ascending, there's just infinite light everywhere. Unconditional, universal love everywhere, and you are loved in this space more than you could ever imagine. In this space, you are loved as more precious than heaven and earth. You are more precious and valuable than both heaven and earth. Enlightenment honors your absolute divine greatness. And even beyond the light, we go beyond all time, beyond all space, beyond all name, beyond all form, where self alone is what's there. Not even light. So this very source of pure conscious being is Anahat. It's not vibrating. It's still. And you're still as God created you. Consider that consciousness to be an empty circle or an empty sphere. You are the sphere, the consciousness. And yet you're going to have a human experience. So you're going to make that sphere appear a bit smaller, kind of thinking of yourself as a soul, just a drop of the ocean. Sense your love for the ocean. You don't have to be the same quantity, but you're the same quality. You're just narrowing your attention down to become smaller, apparently, and come down towards your human body again. So now we're going to descend, but we're going to do it far more enlightened. Come down into your body right here now. Don't feel like, oh, I don't want to come out of this. Be the consciousness, but surround your body right here now. You're not a body. You're not in a body. The body is in you. The body is in your awareness. You're not in a body. The body is in you, in your awareness. Just as your hands are in your awareness now, you're not in your hands. Your hands are in you. Your whole body is in you. You're not a body. Yet you're having a human experience. So you embrace that with maturity as you breathe again below your navel. And let the circle, the sphere, surround the human. Let the center of that sphere be your heart. Get heart-centered again. Bring all the love that you are into your heart. Be the love that you are right here now in your heart. Be the peace that you are right here now in your heart. And you breathe below your navel, fully open to spirit, fully connected to your body with a fully open heart. Or fully descended, fully open to spirit with a fully open heart. And that's the essence of Anahat meditation. We descend, we ascend, yet we always come back down again. And it's the recirculating of ascending and descending that keeps us connected to God on all levels, in all ways, always. So take your time integrating it right here now in your own way. Set any intentions of how you'll carry this into your life, how it helps you to sleep better at night, how you know who you truly are, and realizing you're very valuable, very important, and you're here to do something in this world that no one else can do. You're not here by accident. You have a mission and a purpose, and only you can do what you're meant to do here. So remembering to stay in the path as you breathe, move and stretch, take your time. We'll slowly transition to opening our eyes. Do whatever you do. Massage your face, massage your neck, whatever you like. Let our eyes open. Feel free, for those of you who are here live, to get your cameras on if you like. You don't have to. You can just let me know if you want to speak. But let me go to question answer time. We'll wrap it up once we all feel satisfied and complete. So feel free to share if you like using the chat pod. Ask any questions. Okay, so again, thank you everybody who's here live. Liliana said, during my meditation, I feel like, hey Mike, during my meditation, I feel like I would have a heavy helmet applying pressure all around my head. That is part of the meditation, question mark. No, in Chinese medicine, or I think it was in homeopathy, that feeling, it's not, don't attribute it to meditation. I don't want to say it's diagnostic as in like pathological in any way, but it was one of the part of like a diagnosis in homeopathy or Chinese medicine, as I remember back from like 20 plus years ago of studying that stuff. It has to do with some kind of energy going on with the head, like something that could be cleared and released, which could be a very positive thing, right? So I don't remember the exact diagnosis that goes with it. I'm not saying I'm not here to diagnose, right? It's not my career anymore. So I'm not doing that, but I'm saying it's most likely something that you can clear. And when that clears, I would suggest there's a very good chance that your third eye is going to open more, that your crown chakra is going to open more light come into your being, and you're able to access higher intelligence, higher wisdom better. So I would just suggest that feeling. It's like in Chinese medicine, I forget, it was like the patient says, it's like they say, it feels like I'm wearing a hat. That's what that sounds like. I would suggest that can be cleared and released. So yeah, you might talk to a Chinese medical practitioner. Maybe it was homeopathy, but I think Chinese medicine should be familiar with that phenomena. Or in our model, I would imagine in a private session with either eye movement therapy or breath work. And for you, Liliana, I don't know where you're at. With your primary challenge, but so I won't go into details, but maybe breath work is more appropriate instead of eye movement therapy. I don't know. But I would think both of those modalities with a well-trained practitioner with the intention to clear that should be able to do so. So I think it's something that could be cleared and that could only benefit you. Okay, so let me know if that helps. That's the best answer I can give you. But no, it's not like the meditation causes that. If anything, the meditation is helping you to amplify any blockages so they can be cleared. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. Any questions, comments, sharing? Mike, your camera's on. Did you want to share anything? Nope. We good? All right. Great. Well, okay. I'm good. I hope you guys enjoyed some time here. I'm going to not do classes this October. I'm not going to do November, December. So let's take the holidays off. Let's take a nice little break, but keep an eye out. I've been doing tons. Thank you, Mike, who's been helping with that. Tons of podcasting. I've done like 5 this week. So if you want more of me, you can go to just check out our YouTube channel. I've been doing lots of interviews, amazing people. If you're interested in being on our Illuminated Mind podcast, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to interview you. And as long as, it's the right fit. And then, yeah, if you want to hear more of what I've been up to, just check out podcasts and you'll get plenty of Matthew if you want. Yeah, look for stuff in the new year where hopefully we'll have like a new infusion of working with the Anahat system. All right. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate you. Julie, thank you. Amanda said, beautiful as always. Thank you, Matthew, once again. Thank you. And Julie, thank you, Matthew. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. All right, good. Thank you, everybody who's here live. I appreciate you. Yeah, we'll take a break from the support groups until the new year. But yeah, reach out to me if you have any questions. And then, of course, a lot of stuff happening on YouTube if you want more. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night.